Hello and welcome to the Empty Glass Podcast.
This is Matt.
This is Stefan.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man.
What's
How
up
about
with you?
you?
I'm hungry.
Oh shit, you're hungry? Here, I'm gonna switch scenes, so don't say anything, otherwise it might cut out your audio. Let's see. Oh no, it didn't. That's nice. Okay, cool. Well, now I know in the future that when we set it up like that, it'll stay set up like that, so that's nice.
That's pretty rad.
What are you hungry for?
Food. I've been on the healthy grind. Been trying to decrease the amount of food I eat in a day, and also
Right,
exercise a bunch more. And
right.
been doing pretty okay with that. Been pretty good. And today, start off the morning with a nice spinach feta wrap by Starbucks and a large cold brew, and then had like three peppers, like the little vegetable peppers with hummus, and that's all I've had today. And it may sound like I'm starving myself, but I'm an overeater, so I'm trying to like cold turkey on that, and then slowly introduce better foods throughout the day. So
Good for you.
until then, and also I went for like a 3 mile walk during my lunch break. It's gonna be a rough transition, but it's going okay. It's getting better each day.
I'm glad, dude. It seems like it was a coffee kind of morning because Rose and I got coffee this morning too, and
Mm.
I saw David for a brief moment, and David had a coffee too, and we went to Starbucks, and Rose got that turkey bacon egg white cheddar sandwich. It's pretty good.
Oh, that's my other go-to. So it's either the spinach feta or that one because I just fucking gobble those up. Just a little gobble monster over here. Nom nom.
I had an iced coffee, and I've had some snacks throughout the day, but I too haven't had like a decent meal. I've been up since 7 a.m. Actually, I've been up since 6 a.m. and just going hard.
Yo, I will say, and also this is now the Starbucks podcast. Welcome everybody. The pistachio cream cold brew. Do not sleep on that. That shit fucking slaps.
Pistachio cream cold brew.
Yes, 100%. It's not too heavy on like calories or anything like that. I mean, I'm not ordering it right now, but like my girl who usually does nothing but talk shit about Starbucks loves the pistachio cream cold brew, and I fucking love it too. It's pretty great. And my sister also, everyone I know loves it who's tried it. So you guys should definitely try it next time.
Nice, man. I'll definitely have to give it a whirl. I just had a plain old iced coffee.
Yeah, and
Rose
I'm,
had the matcha latte.
you know what? That's perfectly cool. Everyone likes their thing. Mine, I just had a venti giant ass cold brew, so a bucket of black coffee, and that's gotten me through the day pretty okay. So you gotta do what you gotta
Hell
do.
yeah, hell yeah.
Hey, did you notice we have an extra follower?
Who is it?
I don't know. I can't see that shit. I just know that we were at 7 followers for a long time. Now we have 8 followers.
I'm looking right now. Boop 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 boop. I bet you I know who it is. Let me see.
Oh, you can see who they
I bet
are.
you it's yeah, I bet you it's Bert.
Uh, Bert,
I can't see at the moment. I was trying to, but I bet you it's Berto TTV.
Bert the Squirt.
We used to have Frosty Rob come and join us a lot, but
He's
comes
dead.
yeah, he died.
Killed
But
him.
yeah, there's a couple things we didn't get to touch on last week that I wanted to. And one of those in which it's kind of developed in the sense that I've been able to see it now, and that is the show Poker Face.
Oh, yeah, you kind of told me about that.
It's
So,
crazy, man. It's great. Give it a watch. For sure, if from someone who didn't like, I know you didn't like Glass Onion. I liked it okay enough. It definitely wasn't Knives Out, but it was entertaining. This is like that. It's awesome. It's like you just got to watch it. I don't even want to tell you what it's about. I don't even want to tell you how it like develops. Just watch the show. It's fun.
what's it on?
It's on Peacock.
Oh, no, I'm good.
I got a login for you.
Oh, well, give it to me now over stream.
Yeah, sure. Okay, the
Yeah, we'll
username.
do a
Yeah, yeah.
we'll
Here
do
you go.
group
Here,
watch.
get your pen and paper out.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I
The
totally have
username.
that.
The username
Is
is sarcophagus.
okay. How do you spell cophagus?
Like cough, like, and then igus,
Damn, bro. Well,
and
I
then
mean,
at
at
SBC
this
Global SBC Global.net.
At this bit is already going stale quicker than we're telling it.
Password is eat my ass 24.
Oh, I mean, so your normal password. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's my regular. Yeah, it's my regular. Anyways,
So,
but yeah, I mean, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
well, no, I wasn't gonna like. I'm not looking at spoilers or anything. I saw something about this online, and I just confirmed that the main actress Charlie Kale or Natasha Leone,
I don't know how. Yeah, one of those.
Natasha Leone. She's been in a few things I've wanted to watch, and a few things I have watched that's really good. The most recent thing I wanted to watch with her was the Russian Doll, which I totally missed that one. People loved it. It's kind of a Groundhog Day time loop kind of situation, just a little bit darker. And I saw the first episode and I really enjoyed it. I just never got the chance to watch more. But I like her as an actress, so just the fact that you're recommending a show with her in it does pique my interest. It does
Yeah,
peacock my interest,
yeah.
if you will.
Oh my god, no. But yeah,
Wow, that's fucked up.
but yeah.
Her Hold on real quick. Her trademark on IMDb is raspy voice. I'm like, wow, that's cool to be known as. That's cool to have your trademark.
I mean, it's they ain't lying.
Yeah, they're wolfing these nuts. Sorry.
But yeah, yeah, definitely give it a watch. It's a lot of fun, ton of fun, especially coming from Glass Onion. It's like a breath of fresh air, or a fresh of breath air, or however you say it.
A breath of fresh. But I
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
go back real
breath of
quick.
fresh. Sorry.
I want to go back to my fitness thing just for a quick second because something happened today that I thought was very interesting. So I mentioned that I went on a walk today for my lunch break. I live right next to a park, so I'm able to kind of like walk over to the park and hit the trail a little bit and get back in time. And on my process of doing that, uh, it's like a paved trail, so a lot of bikes go through. And one thing a lot of bikers will do is they'll have like a little, sound bar or something blasting off music because they don't want to put in earbuds because that'd be too difficult. They want everyone on the trail to hear their shit, which, fine, whatever. Uh, but when I was walking, I just heard like in the distance, like, da-da-da-da. I was like, what? Da-da-da-da. This dude comes fucking coming around the corner. He's got one of those big ass wheel bikes. Like it's two wheels, but the wheels are like over an inch wide. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but they just look like they could run you over. And like he has like a long ass fucking fedora, like Indiana Jones esque like hat on, giant ass sunglasses that are blocking like from the lower cheek all the way to the upper brow, and just fucking blasting Darude Sandstorm at 1 p.m. on a cold day. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
That's
My man,
incredible.
my man looking over, he looked like he was over 40. I could see some grays popping out, just blasting Darude Sandstorm on the bike trail for everyone to hear. And I was tempted to bust a jig, yeah, as you say. I did not, but I wanted to. I thought about it for at least 2 seconds.
I was gonna say that's a man of wisdom, style, and class.
Yes, and also subterfuge. I
I'm
don't
sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't know exactly what that word means in this context, but it felt right. It felt like the right word to use.
What did you say?
Subterfuge.
Subterfuge. The fuck
Yeah,
does
that
that
word.
mean?
It's a thing.
Oh,
Just
sure, sure. I got
yeah,
you.
just
Yeah,
roll with me.
yeah.
Yes and. Yes
Yes,
and.
and yes, and.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys don't blast your music on the bike trails, and if you are gonna do it, make it like house music or dude sandstorm, something people can enjoy.
Yeah, give us a party. If you're gonna make a party, give us a party. Whoa, something disconnect?
Your mama.
I heard the doot 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 doot. Did you plug something from your computer?
Uh, so a little sausage is made right now. My computer's not currently set up because it is. I got a new desk and I'm waiting. And part of it's a long story, but basically, I only have half the desk right now. So I don't have my PC set up because I didn't want to bother setting it up, getting all the wires set up until I have like my final thing, which who knows how long that'll take. So I'm using my laptop that I haven't touched in like a year. And I spent all day updating it, making sure it'd be ready, and I plugged in some stuff, and it's kind of gone back and forth a few times. So if this shit fucking drops, whatever. Uh, yo, Berto
What's up,
TTV
Bert?
is in the
What's up?
chat,
Yeah, it's Bert. It's good old Bert.
and he says, "What up? What up, my dude?"
What's up, my man?
Oh my God. And Park Edgo is also in the chat saying, "Hi, I want to offer a promotion to eat my dick."
No,
Cool.
yeah. No, don't read that. V imagine that fucking bot that's in our chat. Hey man, hey, if you're a bot, come on, give us some more viewers. Bring some people
Yeah.
in. I'm not gonna pay you nothing though. Sorry. We
Yeah.
don't make any money from this. We just do this because we do this, but
In fact, if anything, this whole thing is at a loss to us because I'm spending on my electric bill. I could probably be using this time to better myself. So this whole thing is a net loss in general. If you
definitely.
could at least split us even, then at that point, maybe I'll consider tossing you some funds.
So gym versus home equipment, what do you prefer?
Oh, home equipment, 100%.
Yeah, it's just cheaper in the long run, right?
Well, not only cheaper, but me as a person, it's kind of a situation of like, if I'm not working out at home, the obligation of a contract for a gym is not going to make me go work out somewhere else.
Truth.
So that's me personally, because like I've had a gym membership multiple times I didn't use and just fucking burnt a hole in my wallet. And then when COVID hit, I did a lot of walking, running, weightlifting in my apartment and stuff like that. So if I'm not doing it there, if I'm not doing it here at the most convenient area, it's not going to happen anywhere else. But
Yeah, I
that's
like that
me.
answer. I like that answer.
Yeah, I know lots of people have that motivation, and also the gym has a lot of shit most people don't have at their home. So that would absolutely make sense why they would like a gym at that point. It's just personally for me, I like home because it is a guaranteed obligational thing.
That makes sense, dude.
Yeah. So I just talked a shit ton. What you got? Speak.
Hold on.
You texted me earlier today, like I'm so excited for this podcast. I have so many topics, and you've
Give me a
given me one.
second. Give me a second. All right, so Rose and I are planning our wedding maybe for October.
Oh my god, a Halloween wedding?
Well, no, we're gonna try to do it before Halloween because, um, like we're trying to kind of sneak it in before all the crazy holidays. We figure people are gonna be busy on Halloween, like especially people with children, who want to take them trick or treating, and then right after that is Thanksgiving, and then right after that is Christmas and New Year's. So we're trying to kind of like sneak it in like the first few weeks of October if we can, like before the 31st, but shooting for a weekend.
Nice.
And then
Well,
we might go take a trip to Colorado.
man, fuck you. I was talking about going to Colorado with my girl. That's not you piece of shit.
Hey, it's our honeymoon, so you got to give me a pass.
I don't give a fat fuck. I'm
Truth.
kidding.
I got
You
a
mean
I got another little topic, and then we'll switch off. Um, I recently rearranged downstairs. You saw this as well, and I know I might have talked to you about this in person, but I don't know if I talked about it on podcast. But basically downstairs we have it wired to where we have a 5.1 system that's just never been used, or maybe it was used for like a year of its life and then just never again, but it's some really nice speakers and they're like permanently fixed into the walls and all that jazz. So I had an old AV receiver that was given to me by my professor from Northwest Vista, and it worked for years, but I finally like I guess it finally just like kicked the bucket and stopped working. So I was like, well, imagine that. And fucking come to find out that a brand new receiver is like $750. And I'm like, who would justify that, right? I mean, everything nowadays is wireless. Don't you have like a wireless semi surround system or something?
semi the base part of it is wireless.
Right, but you have like satellite speakers and a sound bar, right? I mean, that's like the style.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
wait, no, I don't have satellites. I just have a soundbar.
oh, okay, so you have a sound bar and a subwoofer, but then again, that's like the style nowadays, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I decided to call Bjorn's, which they used to do repairs, and I guess they still do repairs, but they used to have like a used inventory. So, when they answered the phone, I was like, "Hey, so, do you guys have any used AV receivers for like a 5.1 surround sound system?" And they're like, "Well, we don't really do used inventory. All of our inventory is mostly new." And I said, "Oh, okay, well, that's fine, but I don't know. Like, could you maybe transfer me to your repair guy because I have a couple questions for him?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So repair guy picks up, and I'm like, "So I got this old Pioneer Elite, and I gave him like the model number and everything." And I was like, it's definitely like a power supply issue because it turns on, but then it doesn't turn on the secondary amp, which is supposed to power the speakers. And he said when something like that happens, it's like better to just toss the whole unit because more than likely it's deeper than just a power supply. And he was like, and especially because you're talking about a unit that came out in 2005, that's a 20-year-old unit. And I like had to think about that, bro. I was like, wait, what? And I had to think about it. And I was like, holy shit, he's right. That was 18 years ago.
Wow.
Fuck.
Been a
So
minute.
yeah, yeah, I was just like, well, that's crazy to think about. 2005 was damn near 20 years ago. Imagine that. But I decided, and I just asked him straight up. I was like, well, what would you do in this situation? Would you, buy something new, or would you just go try to find something used that's cheap? And he's like, dude, honestly, go the cheap route. I was like, all right. So I ended up actually finding a like unit from 2016. So that's fairly new, under 10, and has like 5.1 and 4K HDMI and all this stuff for $100. Thank you, Facebook Marketplace.
Nice.
But it's just crazy because it's like it's something that it seems so niche nowadays, to have that big receiver, that big audio video receiver, and like have to manually hook up all these speakers using speaker wire and like the little twist knobs on the back. Like it seems so ancient. I can't believe that new units start at like 500 for the cheapest ones.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, it
insane to
is.
me.
I mean, shit progresses, shit changes.
Absolutely,
Isn't
but it's like one of those things where it's like you find a Blu-ray player for like $25 or $50. You know what I mean? Like they these receivers, this kind of technology, this whole kind of setup, like nobody uses it anymore. And so it was just kind of crazy to me that, well, first of all, the one I was fucking with is actually almost 20 years old, and secondly, that my God, like I can't believe they start there. That's expensive. Like no matter how you cut it for what is basically ancient technology.
speaking of ancient technology.
Ancient aliens. What do they say in that show? Rose and I had a real quick. Rose and I had a game where
How
it's
fucking
like
dare you? You
it's
killed my
like
segue.
well, real quick. We had a game where we were drinking. Well, we weren't drinking, but I was saying if we were drinking, we would definitely be fucking dead. Where it's like take a shot because my dad watches Ancient Aliens and we'll just have it on in the background. It's like take a shot every time they say ancient astronaut theorist, and you'll be fucking dead. That's like that's their call sign. All right, sorry to fuck up your segue. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, are you gonna start selling your VHSs?
Probably not, because
Have you? But have you heard about this? Did I tell you about this last time?
is it that like some of those VHSs go for like thousands, right?
Yeah, yeah. So apparently, you could sell VHSs because our generation is a slave to nostalgia, apparently, and just they need to buy anything that remotely reminds them of nostalgia or collectible to any degree. And it's pretty fucking insane because, especially VHSs, I was just talking to my sister about this the other day that like VHSs are great. I mean, there's nothing like putting a big old brick right in the machine, hitting the play button, and watching a movie. Like it's a whole very aesthetically pleasing thing. But at the same time, VHSs fucking suck. Like the tapes are made to basically deteriorate, or the film is made to like not last a long time. So the act of saving them only for someone to just look at them is just pretty kind of silly, honestly.
Yes and no. Tape definitely does degrade, but it's better than like having a reel to reel 8 millimeter or like a 20 millimeter because it's encased in that plastic and inside of a box at all times. It's basically in its own dark room. So feasibly, the tape inside of a VHS can actually outlast most DVDs. DVDs will deteriorate faster because that layer of plastic will oxidize, and then then your DVD reader or Blu-ray player won't be able to read the disc anymore. Same with like Xbox 360 games. Discs are actually the worst longevity, have the worst longevity for like all kinds of mediums. The second worst, or maybe even the first worst, would be like your film strip, 35 negative or 16 millimeter negative or 8 millimeter negative. But
But
what's crazy is that VHSs, if played on the right thing, actually look really good. Like if you play a VHS on a CRT, it actually looks pretty great because it uses what's called interlacing. And old school TVs were able to handle interlacing at a progressive scan and show the picture line by line, and you would never notice any sort of visual warp if you had a good VHS player. Now, that's also a hard thing, is finding a good VHS player. But the best thing about VHSs is the sound quality. Even to this day, you can't replicate that sound quality on a virtual file, on a streaming site, or on a Blu-ray. That sound quality that comes from tape is true analog signal, and that a lot of people seek that out. So if you had like the old, like me, if you had a CRT and an old VHS player, it would actually look pretty good quality wise, and the
Okay.
longevity. Like I wouldn't worry about them degrading. I would worry about putting them in a bad machine, or most of the machines going to shit first, because they use like motors, and once those motors go bad, they can catch the tape. You're right, it's a messy format. Like definitely, I'm not disagreeing with that. But as far as it goes for them deteriorating, you'd actually be surprised.
Well, no, hold on, Bucko. So the main thing of this, first of all, take away the fucking video and sound quality because most people are just buying this to look at it. Which, like, I understand wanting to collect something, you collect something. That's like fine, whatever, I guess. But also, it's a situation of like, let's compare it to another collectible, like vinyl records. Now, vinyl records can also deteriorate with enough heat. They could even like bend or not taken care of, whatever, like that. But for VHSs, like a magnet passes by, they're fucked. It like heat can like certainly melt the film in that quicker than it can a vinyl or anything else. Also, like it's just a situation of like no one is buying it to watch these movies. Like I said, it's just they do it for the collectible purchase of it. And even if they did buy it to watch movies, I agree with you. The sound quality is like pretty nice. And I am a fan of VHS like tape, the way VHS tapes look. But listen, dude, they're not you or I to the point of like, oh, it's really the vibe of watching it on this. Is like undebatably newer movies, 4K movies, whatever, look better. They've been restored. They
Oh
just
yeah,
yeah, it's an aesthetic thing.
it's weird.
That's
It's
what you mean when it says it looks really nice. Is for the aesthetic, it looks really nice. And if you're a fan of that aesthetic, like you or I, it is nice. But most people don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, no. And most people have shitty VHS players. Like it's hard to find a nice one unless you got lucky. Because there was such a long period of time where VHS players, right, didn't actually, or you call it like a VCR, right? The VHS is the tape, the VCR is the player. There was a lot of VCRs that didn't have tracking, they didn't have dual heads, they had issues. They get the tape stuck up in the reels, and once you do that, you basically ruin the movie. There's almost no way to spool it back. So you can try by hand, but it might always not be the right tension anymore. And yeah, it's messy. It's just like cassette tape moving to CD. Like CD was certainly more convenient. Um, you could put more songs on one CD, and you could put a whole album on a CD and then some. Um, but back then you had to flip the tape around, and then it got fucking stuck in your Walkman or whatever. But like just like me, I recently went through all my old game consoles, organized all my games from alphabetical order by console, by uh, everything, and I was like, man, I kind of want to put the consoles in a better spot. So I'm actually going to take the floating shelf that's right outside my studio that has a bunch of dusty books on it, give those books to my nephew Roman, which is another topic, and yeah, I'm gonna put my consoles kind of more so on display. And it's a timepiece. How often do I really sit down and play those consoles? Not often. I barely play games as it is, but like you said, it's just a nostalgic vibe. But yeah, undoubtedly, what we got nowadays just blows it out of the water, especially visually. And yeah, now we got stuff like DTS and Dolby Vision, and then we got shit like surround sound, THX and DTS right in our house or whatever. It's crazy.
I mean, the thing is, like, this, I mean, it makes more sense than NFTs, which are, fucking bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
at least this is something physical and it truly is like a collector's item. But at the same time, one of the biggest examples for something that goes for a really high VHS is Superman 3, and that movie's garbage. It's just like, is anyone really gonna spend $5,000 on Superman 3? The answer is yes, because people are just dumb or have too much money and just don't like not being in debt or something. I don't know. It's just a silly trend. But But yeah, go ahead and talk about your dumb nephew. I'm kidding.
Oh
Go
my
ahead.
fucking. Yeah, I got a nephew now. My sister had a baby.
Thrilling.
Yay! Yeah.
It is cool. I already gave you congratulations, hugs, and whatnot.
Yep. He's a cool baby.
Nice. So you're gonna get Dead Space?
Oh man. Am I? No, I don't think so. Not yet. I don't know. Fuck.
I've heard some really great things about it. And I bought it. It's loaded up on my PlayStation. I was gonna play it before my girlfriend gets home, but instead I'm here with you. So thank you for that.
Well, speaking of which, we are at the halfway point, so
So I'm gonna finish my point about Dead Space. So I mean the biggest thing was I just wanted to say real quick was that, or do you want me to do it after the plug?
whatever you want to do. That don't matter to me.
Okay. Uh well, we'll leave everyone on the edge of their seats about what Matt was going to say about Dead Space as Stefan plugs.
Remember to go to www.theemptyglasspodcast.com and follow us on all of our podcast sites. If you want to listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google, your own Alexa, whatever the hell you want to listen to us on, just go to www.theemptyglasspodcast.com. That's where you'll find all of our links. And we try to do an episode every week. Sometimes we don't. But
Like last week.
subscribe and lick us. Nope. Like us. Sorry, I read the script wrong. And go to Bon Shushu to eat snails. How was that?
Much more eloquent than mine. Mine are very sporadic and jumpy, but very good. 8.5 out of 10.
All right. Well, let's talk about Dead Space. I almost said Dead Space 2. Let's talk about Dead Space 4, Dead Space 1, the first one again.
So, I've been listening to a lot of reviews on it and read a few articles, and the consensus is that it is the best remake of a video game. And what that means is that it's completely built from the ground up. One of the reviews I watched, a guy named Skill Up, who I watch a lot of his videos, and I actually love his opinion on things. I think he's very knowledgeable over video games. Is that he played the original Dead Space shortly before playing the remake and said like, this game really doesn't need a remake because it's like so well done. But then he played the remake and then said, this is literally the definitive way to play this game because they improve upon, it's not just remaking or just remastering, but they really do stack and improve upon things. One of the biggest things is the anti-gravity in the first game is not the best, especially since the second game, Dead Space 2, had the better anti-gravity thing. In the first game, you look at a ceiling or a wall and then your character like dives over to it, while in the second game you just free float, fly around, and then you land wherever you want to. This remake has that. Kind of anti-gravity thing, and that's just one of the biggest examples I can give of how like they took the best parts of the franchise and put it into the first game, and then also redid the whole mapping of the levels so you can kind of backtrack or like kind of have like a train you can take to different areas, so it makes it more of a like there's more kind of optional things to do, and they still apparently made it scary. So that sounds fucking fantastic, and I am actually very impressed with current EA. But those little idiots loves Birdo TV. Oh, that's great.
That's me. That's me. That's my personal account.
Oh my god. I don't even know if he's here anymore.
Oh, I don't know. Hi, Bert. Anyways, so
Yeah, so if you love Dead Space, and it's been a while since you played it, and you want to play a little better version of it, apparently this remake is really fucking good, but I will actually play it and get back to you. I just need a fucking purge from the Callisto Protocol, because fuck that game.
yeah, most everything I've heard about Dead Space remake has been amazing. I mean, I think I watched the IGN review on it, or maybe I had it on the background and got just the gist of it. But I think they gave it like an 8.5 or a 9 or something. Like that's pretty
9.
good. They gave it a 9. That's pretty good for ignorant standards.
I mean, once again, if you ever want to like know some like a really good reviewer that I actually like really respect, Skill Up. He's an Australian YouTuber. He also does like daily kind of updates on like gaming and stuff like that, news updates. But his reviews are very well thought out. Like it, there's been like a couple games we don't agree on that I like, he didn't like, or vice versa. But he explains why he likes it, and he also explains why he would understand people wouldn't like it and stuff. It's very neutral territory, and he doesn't give a rating system. He usually just says like, I don't recommend, I recommend, I strongly recommend. And this was a game that he like strongly recommended as a thing where couldn't recommend The Last of Us because it's just updated graphics and that's about it. So I don't know. It's just very good. Recommend it.
I know this is a true remake in the sense of the word. This isn't like this isn't the Halo anniversary skin over with Xbox 360 graphics, but the same engine. It's an entirely new engine. Like I know that they gave the protagonist a voice. Now he talks, not all the time, but when he should. It
And it
looks
is the
exciting.
voice actor
It is the
from
same voice actor as
yeah.
2 and 3, which is the only time that Isaac ever spoke, canon wise. But there's a part of me that's like, I also have on my Series X just the original Dead Space 1, and it runs at 60 frames a second in 4K, which is pretty impressive for a 360 title. And it looks great. Now, will I get it? Probably. But what I think I want to do first is either get close to beating Horizon, which I don't know, that seems so fucking unlikely for me. But I think what I want to do first is I think I want to play The Last of Us through with Rose, and then watch the show, and then probably do something like Dead Space. But the thing is you know me, I like my fast paced, jump in, jump out kind of video games. And in fact, I actually set up, like I said, on my old consoles, and I have my 360 Elite hooked up to my computer. But man, she is loud. Like whenever I decide to pop a game on it, I mean it's like a jet plane taking off. It's insane. And that's just apparently how some of them are. But the white 360 I have in my gaming cabinet is actually older than this Elite. The Elite was given to me by David, and it's quiet. Like what the fuck?
Mm,
It's just
that
very weird.
is
It's I mean, but then again, you know, we're talking like first generation 360s, which are known to overheat and known to blow up, versus well, actually, they're both first generations, and the white arcade console is much quieter. I don't know why, but I know that like the one you have, which is the E, which we've talked about before, I think on podcast,
last
maybe
podcast.
last podcast.
Yeah.
Um, you know, that's a good like version of the console.
Yeah.
If anything,
Yeah.
it's actually the best version of the 360 to have.
Yeah, and we already talked about it, so I don't want to get too much into it. But I was gonna say because you talked about The Last of Us, you should absolutely play The Last of Us before Horizon. Because like I'm even struggling with Horizon 2. Like that game is too fucking big, and it's really like just too much for me. So I literally like will pick it up for like a few days and then just put it down for a few months. Like it's the biggest fucking meal of a game, for better and worse.
Yeah,
Um, but Francine and I, oh well, fuck, just okay. I was trying not to say her name, and it finally happened.
well, there
We
you go.
watched,
There you go.
yeah. Anyway, so we
Doxed,
were,
bro. Fucking doxed.
yeah, shut the fuck up. Anyway, so we were watching the Last of Us show, and she saw the opening of the video game where, you know, if anyone's seen the opening of Last of Us, spoilers, Joel's daughter lives a full happy life. She we so she saw that scene and then she got emotional to it, and then we watched the show, which is fucking fantastic. It is really great. And she's enjoying it quite a bit. But you haven't checked it out at all yet, right? You said you're gonna wait till after you beat the game.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I hope you do both in a timely manner because there's a lot to say about it in very good ways. I think it's probably the best video game adaptation that exists. I think it is put Halo in the fucking dirt, the Halo show in the dirt where it belongs.
I mean, let's
As
be honest, man. That's not even a high bar to set. Halo was
I,
so bad that to this day, I cringe, man. I hate to say I cringe because I know people cringe when hear people say they cringe, but I cringe. And
I'd rather
like a
watch.
lot of shows don't insult me, which brings me to another point. But The Halo fucking insulted me. It insulted me.
I'd rather watch a Super Mario Brothers movie, the one from the '90s, over and over, like until the
Oh
runtime meet the
yeah.
Halo runtime.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Which brings me to another point. The Velma show. Have you heard about this?
I have heard about this.
I have not watched a single
I'm
episode,
not gonna
and I'm
fucking
not
watch a single
going to.
episode. Yeah. I've seen enough about it. I've watched enough reviews about it and like people talking about it. I'm like, this seems like the worst fucking thing to ever exist. It
This,
just sounds
you know, the DC characters, although it bothers me, it's still more understandable to take a more like mature approach, I guess, with the gore and the violence and the cussing and the sex. But Velma? And these are fucking high schoolers? And it's all HBO'd the fuck out, man. HBO, it stands for how about opening all your clothes off and saying fuck as many times as you can.
I mean, I don't know why you sound like a fucking PTA
No,
dad right
I'm
now,
not a
but
PTA dad, but I mean, like, Velma, bro?
yeah,
Velma?
no, okay.
Velma? I'm
The
just kidding.
stop, dude. I don't know why that voice was just like really like hitting a point in my
You're good.
head.
You're good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody.
um, yeah, no, that show is like absolute dog shit. It looks really lazy, and it's an interesting situation. And I think it is funny where you have people like, wow, this woke Velma show is just showing what the liberals want or whatever, or not liberals, but just generic like woke culture, blah blah. But then you get people who are quote unquote woke being like, yeah, the show's still shit, dude. Like it's not us. Like it's just a really fucking awful show.
Yeah, there's a time and a place, and there's certain IPs that I feel like you can easily take there, but I never would have guessed.
The Scooby
And
Doo one is like IP has been fucking rough for a while, and like they really should permanently retire it or at least put on like a long ass hiatus. Like this grinding for that IP to just constantly be used is just ridiculous.
yeah, it seems like they sold that IP to the wrong place, but kind of like to backtrack just a sec. I know you said I sounded like a PTA dad, but I want to kind of add some reasoning behind that. When I first heard about the Velma show, I had no idea. I mean, I like literally saw the cover for it and like kind of like saw some articles, like somewhat sort of, but not really like reading into it, if you will. And
Mhm.
I thought it was just a bad show in the sense that it's just a bad show, like for kids. I still thought maybe, okay, this is like, maybe it's targeting more of like a teenage audience and that doesn't resonate so well anymore. It doesn't have as much lasting appeal. Maybe they're TikTok dancing, the usual. But then I found out that it's like super gory, full of sex and violence and cussing. And I'm like, wait, what?
And
It's
nudity and
and
like
nudity, yeah, like it shows like naked teenagers in it, and people are like, "This is crossing a line, like this is fucked up." And yeah, I mean, it seems like a full on. We're in an alt universe now. Like we made it. We made it to the alt universe. We're here now. Started with
uh,
2012 in the Mayans. I'm just kidding.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me they made something like this. Like I can't think of a really good example, but they've tried to make other shit like edgy and stuff like that. But this was just such a fucking poor take. Like whoever pitched this, which I think Mindy Kaling is taking the brunt of it. I know she's the voice of
No,
Velma,
yeah,
and I
she's the
know she's like a writer. But I don't know if she's like, I don't know how overly involved she is, but anyone who signed up for this, and unfortunately Glenn Howerton is in this. I fucking love Glenn Howerton. He's the golden god, and he plays Fred. Uh, like anyone who got wrapped up into this is like, how the fuck did you think for even a second this was a good idea? Because like I said, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos like going through it, and it's just like no one says a funny joke at all. Like
yeah.
none of the jokes land. Like none of them have any bit of comedy sense. And then people are talking shit about like this is a woke show, but at the same time, she has a fucking Me Too joke. It's like, oh, comedy has been the same since the fucking Me Too movement. I'm like, that's not a like woke thing to say. That's actually the opposite end. So it's just like, who is the show made for?
Nobody, because it's by the person. Well, so what's interesting is it's by Anne Walker Farrell, who did BoJack Horseman.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and for what I understand, like BoJack Horseman is also one of those shows that's funny, but it's not ha ha funny.
Uh-huh.
Haha. And it like touches on a lot of like depression and stuff, and like that's decent. But from what I've heard, it's a horribly depressing show. So, like, yeah. So I mean, it kind of doesn't surprise me. It's by the same person with that mind. But I don't know. Maybe if it could have just been done a little bit differently or a little more in, it could still be in poor taste, but take more of the Deadpool in poor taste and less of the campy slasher film that you're like trying to be funny with, and the jokes just don't land, like Scream 5.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, did you see the trailer for? Okay,
Scream.
well,
It's just called
well, Scream
Scream now.
6.
Yeah, it's called Scream now, but get it because
Yeah,
it's because
because
it's
it's like a
just called
reboot.
Scream because it's just Scream now, but they have the little Roman numeral 6. Sneaky.
I yeah, I fucking wait. No, no, no. Wrong. Hold on.
No, I'm
I mean,
right.
not wrong.
The
No, hold
M,
on.
the M is the Roman numeral 6 on the first vertices of the M, and then the straight line of it makes an I
No.
think.
Okay, no, no, no. Listen, it is Scream 6. The last movie that came out, Scream 5, was just called Scream.
You're right.
Yeah. So I was like, you're half right, but yeah.
But am I
So that's
right
the
on
thing.
the like logo for the new one too? Like the 6 is
Yeah,
part of
the
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 M?
M is yeah.
Okay,
Like
that's
yes,
what I was
you're
remembering.
correct.
Cool. I was like, okay,
Uh
either I'm really high, which is possible, or
yeah, you filthy little drug addict, little
what?
boy.
Absolute
You
what?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's what it sounds like you're about to say. Just absolutely, bro.
Absolutely.
It's fucking Friday, my dude. Get off my fucking back.
I've been up since 6 a.m., man. Give me some slack.
God,
Nah, nah, nah.
dude.
I'm good. I'm good.
Are you gonna watch? Do you care? Did you watch the latest Scream movie? Do you even care about this new one coming out?
I did watch the latest Scream movie, actually. And, no.
Rough.
Yeah, no. Uh-uh.
It was the latest Scream movie was like I know a lot of people loved it, and yes,
It,
it's better than Scream 3,
it,
and it looks better. Looks like cinematography wise, it looks better than Scream 4, which has fucking KY jelly on the lens the entire time. But it is way, way, way too overly meta. Like to the point that it is frustratingly annoying.
oh,
Like,
yeah. The movie's annoying. That's the fucking perfect word for it.
yeah, like I mean, it's still not bad. I could watch Scream 5 if I was doing like a marathon, but like people were like, "Oh my god, Scream is back. This is such a fucking great Scream movie." I'm like, "It was good. It was fine." Like, but like the characters were so overly annoying and meta like constantly. It's like, okay, that is the joke of Scream. Scream is meta, but it was like that at a time that wasn't popular with all fucking media, and then also it was way dialed down. So now you have a movie that was like way dialed up in the meta-ness, and then also there's a million other fucking Deadpool exists nowadays. Like it's just fucking ridiculous.
It's very true. Speaking of ridiculous,
Yes.
we watched *Malignant*.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. Let me. All right, thoughts. Give me your thoughts.
It was there was a scene in the movie where like the sister like reveals a thing, and it does that. You told us kind of about this part, and it was like Rose looked over to me and she was like, "Yeah, I could see what Matt was talking about." It's
It's
so
supposed to be like
I
that.
know it's so bad. And we're like, what is this dialogue? But I mean, it's memorable for that reason. What's interesting is I wish you could take the plot of Malignant, Barbarian, and Smile and kind of like interweave, not necessarily like all three plots together, but kind of get that vibe because they kind of all vibe a lot.
So
The
Barbarian is
twist.
the one movie that I haven't seen yet. I forgot to watch a movie.
Oh yeah,
So
you need to
no
watch
spoilers on that
Barbarian.
end.
Barbarians is my favorite horror movie I've seen in a long time. And
I
I found out
really
I
enjoyed
found
Smile.
I enjoyed Smile a lot too. I would dare to say that I like Barbarian more. So you should definitely watch it and let me know what you think.
Okay.
Um sorry. I also found out that Barbarian was directed by Zach Krager, who is from The Whitest Kids You Know.
Mm.
Zach. And it shows because it also, without giving away too much, it has moments of funny, of like That's
That
great.
makes me really, really want to watch it now.
You
What
need
I
to
mean,
watch it.
I already want to watch it. Oh, no fucking shit, dude. That's cool.
It's free.
That's
It's
like his
streaming
biggest
somewhere now,
movie.
or what? Oh, Zach Krager. Yeah, it's. I think his first movie. I think it's his first like indulge into Hollywood.
Actually, yeah, I'm looking at his IMDb right now. Most of it's just like, TV series, like short. This is like his first movie, and it actually had a lot of fucking traction. So that's fucking cool. Uh,
Anybody who hasn't seen Barbarian, definitely give it a watch. It. Wow. I mean, I thought I had some things. Every horror movie you watch, you kind of are predicting stuff or like trying to see what's going to happen next. Wowzers.
I mean, from the trailer, I already am like, okay, I'm not gonna even try to guess what's going on. I'm just gonna fucking roll with it.
That's uh
Um,
that's how you should handle this movie for sure. I
nice, and
like
I'm already in the
Smile a
right
lot.
mindset.
Smile definitely tickled that fancy, but
I,
had moments.
I,
I wish they did more. I felt like right when the movie was getting real interesting, it just. I mean, it's not that it was super disappointing. I mean, how could have I done it better? Whatever. But I really appreciate a movie that goes places, like takes us different locations, and that movie started to do it and then just fell on its face.
well, I mean, I don't think it fell on its face. Like, I actually really like the ending of, or like the climax because
It
I
worked
don't
for
want to
the
spoil
movie.
it. Well, the thing is, I don't want to spoil it, but it goes from one version of horror to a different version of horror,
True. I mean,
which
it's a
I
compliment for me. Like the way I see it, it's like I want more of it. Like I felt like, and like you said, always leave your audience wanting more for sure. And it worked for the movie. But I agree that climax in Smile is bone chilling.
because I really like the entity. Just leaving it at that. I just like that. I like the design of it. I thought it was cool. But I
I thought it was a little. I thought the design of the entity was a little,
well,
but
the thing is, like, I thought it was fine for what it was because it was, first of all, we have to say, like, this movie actually did not have a crazy budget. It just had an
true,
okay budget.
true.
Uh, so like a sequel or something, I think could really blossom. Not necessarily saying I want a sequel, but it could. Um, I mean, when you see when you see the fire moment, that's rough. That is the worst. That's the roughest part of the entire movie. But from what the creature originally was, and then like what it turns, like the last scene you see it as, like, oh fuck yeah, dude, I love that practical effects, like the practical, just everything. Oh, so good. And the way it ended, I have an opinion over if horror movies in on a pessimistic note or an optimistic note. I usually prefer optimistic, not necessarily because I want a happy ending with everything, but for a lot of times, like you want to show that your character's struggles and like good decisions are paid off for in the end.
True.
Um, I'm not going to say which version this movie has, but I actually really liked how it ended. I thought the ending of it was very on point. And actually, I kind of came out with a whole. I mean, the movie's been out for a while, but maybe this time since we've been dancing around it so far, we'll keep dancing off it. But maybe in a podcast or two in the future, we'll go into full spoilers on like why I really liked the ending, and I think there was a much deeper meaning to it.
True. I'm down. I'm down. Down the line, but no, no, no. I mean, don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I kind of wanted more of the middle of the movie. You know what I mean? Like just a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit
no, I
more.
get you.
And that's it. I mean, I didn't. I don't think it could have ended differently, really. And that's a good thing. But on to
Uh, did you know that was Kevin Bacon's daughter, by the way?
yes. Uh, we found that out later, and I was like, "Holy shit!" It makes sense. And I think she kind of looks like Rose, and her character's name is Rose, so that's interesting.
Dude, well, it's
Or
fucking
Rose
wild.
looks like
Just
her, however that works.
Sosie Bacon. But it's kind of a crazy thing I wanted to like put out there before we move on was that when the movie started, she looked like she was like 40, and this girl's actually like 23 or something like that. She's very young. Or no, she's like born 1992. Okay, so during the time of the movie, she was about 25. I don't want to do math right now. I just got off work, but um, when the movie started, she looked like she was like 30, and my sister and my girlfriend and and my mom are like, because we all watched it together. It's like, what the fuck? Like, she looks so old. But then like the movie, it starts to end, and when she starts to look more ragged down, is when she looks super fucking young. She looks like she's 17. It's like, what is wrong with this girl? Like, how does she keep shape shifting into like younger and older versions of herself?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really notice, honestly. I mean, I think like at the beginning, she's just got her hair pulled back and she's tired, and maybe in like a way, her circumstances like breathe some new life into her. You know what I mean?
I think, well, no, I think it's more of a situation of like, she's wearing very mature clothes, and I think she has a lot of distinguished features on her. Like, I'm even looking at a picture her right now. She has a very distinguished like neckline and like uh part of the mouth, which usually more distinct. That kind of distinguishedness is more found in older people. Um, and I guess probably the way it was filmed or lighted, it really had those pronounced features elevate. But then later in the movie, where she's kind of more in like solid lighting or like out in the open, like she just looks a lot younger and she has her hair down. It was just very interesting that like
Yeah,
it
it's
was like a
weird that
10
like
years difference.
not like one person noticed, it was like three of you guys at the same time making the same observation.
Yeah.
I also saw it in the theaters, so I know the theater screen like messes with brightness and shit.
I really think it just sticks with the movie. It wasn't really necessarily like how we watched it. But yeah, no, I don't know why. I just felt like I wanted to say that. So
Interesting.
bam, baby.
So
Ah,
are you gonna buy that fucking P, PS5
VR.
Elite, no, PS5 Elite controller?
Oh, I thought about it, but it's a little out of price range. I mean, because the thing is, I was talking about last podcast. I was very much considering getting the Xbox Series S, and yeah, the controller's just a little bit cheaper than that. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to drop $200. I think I'm just going to get a new console.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, at that point you might as well buy a Series S. Like that's honestly the smart move.
I mean, it looks very cool. I looked at all the details for it. I saw like, the details, and it has a whole UI integrated when on the console when you play video games. Like, it has a lot of cool features. I think it is worth at least $100 possibly, but at this point I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna spend that much money for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, if it went on sale, if it got dropped in price, maybe. Also, a little minor thing is I hate the black is glossy, so it shows like fingerprints more and everything like that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just I hate that. Yeah, that's bad design choice.
Do you have any of those swagged out PS5 controllers?
I don't, but I have a buddy that does. He has a controller that looks like an Arizona T.
That's cool. I definitely see them. I know that Birdo has like a purple one and a black one.
Mm.
Um, and like, do you have any like colored controllers?
Yeah, I got a purple one and a blue one.
Nice.
But because I got an advertisement the other day for like a modded controller for PS5, essentially where you can add different features to it. And back in the day, during Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox, Richard and I both got like modded controllers and stuff. Like that was kind of the cool thing to do. It's like, oh, you can shoot a pistol like a million miles a minute with just a single button press or something. Like, and it was cool at the time and stuff. But like, as I've gotten older, I'm kind of in the situation of like, I just want to play games. Like, I don't really need something extra to like up my game or anything like that, or something really crazy. It's like I just want a controller that plays the game I want to play, and that's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is like you said, allocate that money in a better spot. Like buy a Series S for that amount of money, and two, just
Invest in
play.
Dogecoin.
Yeah, and then two, just yeah, get those cryptocurrencies sponsored by. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
Better help.
BetterHelp. Interesting tidbit about the controllers, though. Did you know that if your controller ends with a one, it actually is from the first wave of PS5 controllers released, and some of those have problems. But if it has an A, it's from the second wave of controllers released. Just a cool
I have
little tidbit
I
if
have
you ever need a
my
serial number or whatever.
PS5 controller right now, and it ends with a one.
Oh, so that is from the first wave of PS5 controllers. Now, I mean, the one that you graciously gave to me at an amazing deal. The one controller has an A and one controller has a 1. It's very interesting. But I noticed no difference. I mean, literally, there's no difference. But it's just a cool little tidbit. That one is kind of a first generation, and then the other one came out just last year in 2022. And the first one, the first wave came out in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm
No
also with you. I'm
way.
like, controller technology is cool to an extent. Like, don't get me wrong. I do still think the PS5 controller has a gimmick, but it is a more functional gimmick. So it's on that borderline of like, this is truly an immersion type situation. It airs more on that side of the spectrum. But I do find myself turning it off sometimes. Like if I'm playing GTA Online, like I don't want to feel every bump in the road while I'm driving. You know what I mean? Or I'll just turn it to like regular rumble instead of for, what do they call it? 3D touch? No, god damn it, what do they call it?
3D Rumble.
3D rumble? Yeah. So, but I am excited to see how it works with like Harry Potter, and I think with shooters, oh man, I mean that's where it really definitely like feels like it actually is a function. You know, it's a second or a third button on the controller, and I do. You know, we talked about it last time. Like, what do you like better, the PS5 or the Series? I do think that the PS5, even though it's not as powerful as the Series X, now I don't have a 120 hertz display, so I can't tell you, but I think it runs. I think the PS5 has a level of rendering. I think it just kind of does draw distance rendering and under other forms of rendering a little better than the Series X does. But the Series X is still a wildly insane console, and I can't wait to see like where they both end up in the next 5 years later down in their cycle. You know.
The main thing is like the Xbox struggles with a reason to exist more so than the PS5 does because with we've talked about before, but the kind of PC Xbox thing they got going on, it's just kind of been a situation of like what's the point of the Xbox? If you own a PC, like you can just play all the games there and stuff like that. Although there is still a point. I'm not saying there is no point, but for PS5, it's like you need a PS5 to play all the exclusive games because there are exclusive games that are only on the PS5, or at least will be there for months before they even transition over to PC. I mean, that's been the biggest thing, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Xbox is definitely for the PC guys or for the people who just have an Xbox library. I mean, I think there's definitely a place for it, and it did sell well. Nowadays, I'm sure the PS5 is outselling it currently, since the PS5 is, I don't know, actually available now.
Well, I was
Um,
gonna say of like, I mean, the main point I was making is like take away the library of games that exist for both PlayStation and Xbox, and just put the consoles by themselves, and then add all the games that have come out for this current generation. And Xbox really doesn't really have a leg to stand on in that regard. Like all games that come out basically also come out to PS5 as well, but not all PS5 games go over to Xbox. And then if in a situation you have a PC already, which granted PCs cost a lot of money, it's completely understandable why one wouldn't have a personal PC or can't afford it. Um, if you have a personal PC, then there's pretty much no reason to buy an Xbox other than you just want to sit on your couch. But there are also other alternatives to get your PC on your couch. That's the main point I was making is that like take away the library and Xbox doesn't have much. That's why I want to get the cheaper version for per se.
I think there's nothing wrong with the Series X. Sorry, the Series S. I think it's the perfect middle ground for somebody who wants a few of the Xbox exclusives, wants to have a next gen experience without dropping $500.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's why I'm in consideration for it. Oh my
When do
god.
you think you're gonna pull the trigger?
Uh, I don't know. You want to give me $200? I'm kidding. I don't know.
Uh, Take me to dinner.
I'm
No, I'm just kidding.
take you to a $200 dinner and you'll give me $200.
Yes.
Okay, that seems fair. No, I mean, waiting for my tax return to come in. Gonna pay off some bills or put money towards bills, and then kind of see where I'm at from there. So it'd either be the next few weeks or not at all, or not at all, but much later in the year. But
Well,
how?
tax return season is coming around the corner, and I don't know if I talked about it on podcast, but that's a scary time for me for sure.
Because you're an independent uh,
Yeah, it sucks.
contractor.
Sucks, and it's also fine sometimes. I guess we'll see how this year goes. I mean, whew,
Yeah, you
I need to be
need to
saving
get
money
that.
for a wedding, so
Oh yeah. Oof. Good luck with that, my dude.
Thank you.
I mean, your wedding present from like people can just be to pay for your wedding and your honeymoon. It's like, hey, anyone who wants to get us a gift for our marriage, just literally put it in this bank account so that way we can pay off this wedding and also pay off our honeymoon.
Yeah. Um,
Because I mean, you guys already live in a house together, and you have like, I think you guys have plenty of stuff. Like, because most times when people get married, they're like, "Oh, well, you're getting freshly married. Here, we're gonna give you gifts. Here's a new toaster oven. Woo!" Where it's like, no, just deposit, cash app us all the money. I'll do it. I'll
it's
send you
not
like $5.
nice. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Because you're right. We have an astronomical amount of shit.
Yeah, and weddings just nowadays are just getting so astronomically up in price and stuff like that. But also, you want to spend more on the honeymoon. In my personal opinion, you want to spend more on the honeymoon than the wedding. I mean, you want to have fun during the wedding. Don't get me wrong, but like, just really splurge on the two of you. Splurge on the two of you doing your own thing and having fun out there. Kissing or holding hands, whatever couples do.
We sometimes go watch a movie, and then we eat.
I thought you were about to get really fucking like, yeah. Sometimes we raw dog. You know what I'm saying? Just
Oh
get really
my
fucking.
god, damn! You're get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, not even after marriage. God damn.
We need a soundboard because it would actually make your jokes funny, Matt. I'm just kidding.
Oh, whoa, damn, dude.
Damn. Well, with that being said,
Fucking burn. Yeah, I need to go to the hospital and fucking get that
yeah,
burn
I
treated.
sure do. Well, with that being said, this was an excellent episode. Thank you, Matt. And thank you, anybody and everybody watching and nobody watching on Twitch. Remember that we do go live on Twitch. The Empty Glass Podcast is the username all together, no spaces. And that's how you'll find us on Twitch. Otherwise, you can go to www.theemptyglasspodcast.com, and that's where you'll find us on all the other podcast apps like Apple Music or whatever it is, Apple Podcasts and goddamn Spotify and goddamn Google and Alexa and everything. I mean, seriously, we're on stuff that I've never even heard of before. So, but we're there. So check us out. That's www.theemptyglasspodcast.com. And that's it for Podcast Stefan. Podcast Matt, do you have anything to add to the podcast?
Eat your kids.
Eat your kids. I don't know if we
Bye.
should end, bye. I don't know if we should end with eat your kids. It was a great episode until that moment.
In the fucking episode, you fuck.
Okay.